Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fantastic to have you here. We're working on a Viking sword. Today is episode 18, which is insane. We've been working on this for a long time, and we are doing some engraving, and it is a thrill to have you along because I'm learning so much. I am just having an utter blast. So let's jump right in to removing the background on side B of our upper guard. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy. Here is where we're at. I've taken the carbide ball burr and I have, in this direction here across the whole piece, removed a lot of the background. Now this is in one direction here and it's not quite to full depth. I also haven't touched up some of the fine details. There are some bits that still need the work. But I'm gonna end up doing that with a 0.3mm burr. For now, the next step is we go across the workpiece this way with the same burr, establish more depth, a more even surface before we then work on the details. Oh yes, and again, my joy, my childlike thrill for this microscope. It's still just as strong. This thing is amazing.
No, that was my last one, of course. Of course. It was like, oh, I was done with the panel. But no. Oh, it looks so bad on the microscope. Oh, it looks so bad. We'll fill it with gold. Oh, I think I just fixed it. Okay. The second side is done.
Finally! So we're currently at 1 week per side, and we still have the lower guard, both sides of the lower guard to go. 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I still haven't done the gemstone in the eye. It's not finished! So while I was gearing up for this project and I was researching, I wanted to know what are some of the things that the Vikings liked to adorn their artwork with. And of course, they liked their silver, they liked their gold, they liked their copper. And in terms of gemstones, they liked their garnet. So garnet is a very deep red. Why didn't I just show you what a garnet looks like? Well, I was going to show you where it was, but I've lost it. How can a garnet hide so well? So here we go. This here is a 5mm garnet. This here is a 1.5mm garnet. Golly, I should not be allowed around nice things. Why don't we just demonstrate it with the big one? So a book that I'm currently listening to about Viking Britain also talked about garnets, and apparently the Vikings used to import garnet from India. And so this was clearly a very, very sought after material for the Vikings that they would do that. And so I'm very excited to hopefully be able to include that. Now where, you heard me talk about it in the last episode, I would like to put it as the eye of our beast. A very wonderful devilish red eye. Red garnet eye. But, just so you get an idea of scale again, that's a 5mm garnet. I bought those garnets thinking they would be the eyes of the beasts. It's like the size of the head of the beast. It's absurd how ridiculously small that is. And that's created quite the difficulty, because the smallest garnets I have are 1.5mm. And I don't have a lot of those left, because I've now dropped about 6. A 1.5mm garnet certainly gets a little bit closer to the size that we would want for it to work to scale, but there's another thing to consider, and that is the setting. Let me go to my library. I'll go to S for setting, and that's the sword in Anglo-Saxon England. I need to work on my filing. There we go, that's where I filed it. Setting is what you do when you take a gemstone and you secure it to something so it doesn't go flying off. And there are a couple of different ways that I, as someone with the experience of never having done a single setting in my life, will be able to educate you on. There are a couple of different ways of doing it. One of them could be doing a gypsy setting, but I'm not even going to get into that because the setting that I want to do is a tube setting, apparently also known as bezel setting. A bezel is a tube or rim of metal that is soldered onto a ring mounting, or is a casted extension of a mounting. The diamond is seated partially down into the surrounding bezel, which is then bent from the upper portion to secure the diamond. So you can see basically you have a piece of tube, you make a little pocket where the gemstone will fit down into, and then you pop the gemstone down, you tap around it, you then burnish it, bada bing bada boom, you got a gemstone in a piece of tube. So then if we look under V in our filing system, we'll see the art knives of Van Barnett and Delana, who are some of my favorite artist knife makers ever. They're awesome. In this book we can see the beginning of some tube settings. So they've got their gold tube, they've got their rubies and diamonds, they set the gem into the gold, and then they press fit the gold tube into whatever material they want, which is cool because then you're setting your stone into a piece of gold, which is a lot more easy to do, I think. And then it's as simple as press fitting the gold in. But using gold tube means we have to set the stone in the tube, and we have to have enough thickness around there. And that means the diameter of what it is that we really do. And that means the diameter of what will look like the eye, even though, oh, goodness gracious me. All of a sudden has to be increased so that we can fit the stone inside the tube. And how does it look? I didn't place it in the right place. That actually looks kind of okay. We'll see, we'll have a think. So we've got a lot of thinking to do about that, but the plan is garnet, the plan is to tube set it, the plan is to press fit that tube into the eye of the beast, so we have not forgotten the eye. We are not finished with this. And so what we're gonna do now is we are going to try it. For the first ever time in my life, we're gonna try setting a garnet. I'm gonna put this one back in the bag, and we're gonna practice on a slightly larger one. I'm gonna put the baking tray up. Gotta measure it. That's so absurdly hilarious. 2.18 millimeters in diameter. So now we need to pick out the right gold tube. Let's see how it fits. And it's upside down. Oh, come back here, you little rat. Oh. Here we go! Woo! First step to doing a tube setting is being able to actually place a stone on a tube. We got it. God, it looks so beautiful already, and I've not done anything to it. I like gold. There we go.
Let's see how this goes. I've got a 2mm ball burr, which is the same diameter as the stone. I don't have a stone setting burr in 2mm. I've only got 1.5mm. So even from the very little that I do know from looking at YouTube videos, I don't think this is going to be perfect. But let's try it with a burr anyway. We'll see how the stone fits. Are you kidding? Now we'll see how the stone fits. Oh, that's so cool. It needs to go down a little further. That looks so awesome. So now let's see how the gold bends over. Well, for a first attempt, I don't think that's... I can't get it out.
For a first attempt,
I think that's okay. I don't think it's particularly helped by the fact that I think this is a very cheap cut of stone. It was not expensive. I think I paid like $6 for 25 of these. My little seat wasn't perfectly in the middle, and so the gold has different thicknesses around there as I've burnished it. And I need to make a tool that is going to properly fit that. I think it's called a beating tool, so I can just hammer that over with one thing as opposed to having to go all the way around it. But that was fun. How cool will this look? A slightly smaller piece of gold, slightly smaller garnet, polishing up the gold. I think that that is going to be a very fun addition to the project.
I cannot wait to keep cracking on with all of this and all the things that I've got to learn. I mean, for goodness sake, never in my life did I ever think that I would be engraving. Never in my life did I ever think I'd be then messing around with gold. And certainly never did I ever think I'd then be trying to set gemstones, for goodness sake. But it is fantastic fun, and I'm honored, and I feel very privileged to have you along for the journey. So thank you very, very much. I hope you guys will go grab yourselves a t-shirt at alecsteelshop.com. Subscribe if you're new, because I'm very much looking forward to seeing you tomorrow on the next episode. Bye-bye.